You did it. You guys did it. I said 30 likes and the stream will start. We got 39 now. How nice is that? The stingiest audience on YouTube here. Primal Edge Health stream. Um,
But we love them.
Jessica says we love them. I don't know who's we. Nah, we're kidding. What's going on, everybody? What's happening out there? I had to do my makeup, had to do my hair. See, I did my hair up for you guys. I had to tame the beard. It's getting too big there. But here today we're talking about two of the greatest vegans to ever do it. Two of the most incredible vegans out there. Dr. Greger and Dr. McDougall. How's my mic today, by the way, guys? How's my mic? I was getting a little bit of washed out mic the last few streams. I don't have the audio going through to my headphones. So you guys tell me if my audio needs to be turned down a little bit. Tell me if I'm getting that tinny sound. Like if the gain is too high. I turned the gain down pretty low today, so I think we should be good. So Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen Bowel Movements Diet is sweeping the world. It's taking the world by storm. Dr. McDougall is making quite a stir these days. And I mean, a lot of people are saying that he's got early dementia. I've heard that he has, had a stroke in the past. So, I wish the best for both of these guys. I hope these guys get well. But as you all know, as you all see on YouTube, it's really hard for people to come out of this vegan indoctrination. And if you're one of the programmers, one of the higher up levels of the cult of veganism, it is incredibly difficult to leave, right? I mean, your whole identity, your whole income, everything about you is completely wrapped up in this vegan ideology. And unfortunately, for the people who get duped into following these folks, things don't always turn out well. So Dr. McDougall and Dr. Greger, somebody had mentioned to me something about Dr. Greger a few weeks back. And I think I actually may have heard this from Dr. Sean Baker as well, who actually did practice medicine, who actually is a surgeon, and who actually has practiced medicine for many years, sewing people up and actually helping people to heal using diet in his practice, got him a big slap on the wrist. And he had his medical license actually taken away from him, but he has it back now. So Dr. Sean Baker, of course, is still a doctor, and the vegans, they just hate that they have to call our buddy Sean Baker a doctor. But what I heard was that Dr. Greger didn't even finish his residency, that he didn't even complete his residency, that he's never worked in a clinical setting at all. And I was shocked. I didn't believe this. I did a quick Google search, a little bit of Google research, and there was a hit piece on Dr. Greger from this website, humanewatch.org, keeping a watchful eye on the animal rights movement. Now, I'm not sure what this website's deal is. It sounds like they're kind of against the animal rights movement, which, hey, the animal rights movement is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, giving animals human rights and human animals rights is not something that I'm for. You see these animal rights activists engaged in basically terrorist activities all over the UK. You don't see it in Texas for some reason, though. You just don't see it in Texas. You're not seeing this much in Montana. Now, why is that? Why isn't Joey Carbstrong storming cattle ranchers' properties in Texas and Montana? That's an interesting question. You guys will have to ask Mr. Joey Carbstrong out there why he's not doing it. But here's an interesting article. Internet nutrition advice peddler and Humane Society of the United States rep Michael Greger certainly seems like a credible commentary on what we eat. He is an MD after all. But what if this white-coated proselytizer of veganism wouldn't get hired at a hospital? Greger's credentials as a nutrition expert should be understood as we look at his new book, How Not to Die, which I really think he should change the title of that book. I don't know. What do you guys think the title should be? How Not to Die. He needs something a little bit better. How about How to Die Weak, Frail, with Sarcopenia, and ridiculous amounts of dementia at a very young age? How about that? How about How to Die in Pain on your toilet during your 12th bowel movement of the day? I think that's what he should name his next book. So, what this website claims is that Gregor, after graduated from Tufts Medical School, they checked the records with the state of Maryland, and these records indicated that he only did a brief internship at a hospital, not a full residency. This guy didn't even complete his residency. So we talked to some doctors, like Dr. Paul Saladino, who's just a great dude, really nice guy. He's finishing up his residency right now. I think it was over a year, his residency. It might have been a year and a half. Correct me if I'm wrong over there in the chat. You guys always do. Got a little bit of raw milk here. Normally wouldn't be drinking or eating, rather, any calories later in the day. But since I'm trying to gain some weight, and I am successfully gaining quite a bit of weight, I'm using a little bit of milk in these late hours of the day. But how interesting is this? He didn't complete a full residency, according to the records with the state of Maryland, which we can actually search right here. So we can search for Dr. Gregor's records. Gregor. Practitioner's last name. We're going to submit this search. Michael Herschel Gregor. Select. And let's see what's going on here. Date license issued 2006. License expiration 2020. Graduated in 1999. Now, according to this article, Dr. Gregor did a very short stint in his residency and didn't even finish it, with a brief internship at a hospital. In other words, they claim Gregor is arguing that diet is preventative medicine, but has no certification from the American Board of Preventative Medicine as well. So apparently he was using a photo showing him at Lemuel Shattuck Hospital, where he did his internship 15 years ago, but it's not affiliated with this hospital in any way. Not affiliated with this hospital in any way. So Dr. Gregor, perhaps, may not be as credible as we all may think. We got Bart K in the chat. What's up, man? How's it going, Bart? Nice to see you here, Bart. What's else going on in the chat here? Someone says I'm bored. Oh, you're bored? You can just leave. If you're bored, you can leave. So, Dr. Gregor didn't finish his residency, has never had a clinical practice, but parades around calling himself a doctor. He went directly into, and he actually gets into this in this video, he went directly into promoting veganism. How crazy is this? All right.
A very busy schedule. I know that you have to leave in about 13 to 15 minutes. So let's make the most out of it. How are you?
I got 17 minutes.
17
Don't
minutes.
shortchange us.
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. And indeed, you are no McDougall, but don't take it personally. Nobody is a McDougall.
No, I know. And I see that you're exercising.
Can Dr. Gregor get a sentence out without yelling? Can he get a single sentence out without screaming? And look how this man walks in the treadmill. Anybody notice how terrible of posture Dr. Gregor has? How terrible of a gait cycle Dr. Gregor's got? Look at this walk.
Tell us a little bit about your, because I've seen many of your videos, and you're always, or it seems to me that you're always exercising or moving. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do it, and just tell us?
Sure. Yeah, I'm always on my treadmill. And it's not, I mean, it's nice to act as a good role model for healthy lifestyles, but mostly but even when I'm not on camera, I'm on a treadmill desk. And so there's data to suggest that sitting for more than 6 hours a day has
Count the us, guys.
Serious effects on morbidity and even mortality above and beyond being sedentary. So even if you're at a desk job all day and then after work go to the gym for an hour, you still suffer a decrement to your longevity because of having sit for so long. What we think is happening is the blood is pooling in your lower body, particularly because your knees are bent at a 90-degree angle, causing further kind of kinkage to the blood flow. And when
Right. Look at Dr. Greger's neck, guys. I mean, these are the people telling you they know what's good for you. Look at this, this incredible knowledge bomb drop. Moving, walking is good for you, right? Moving your body is good for your health. I mean, this is just incredible, groundbreaking information. I am so glad that Dr. Greger the Great is here to tell us all about the amazing powers of walking. Just absolutely incredible. What else we got? We got CMC in the chat. What's up, CMC? Charles Marlowe over there. He's looking for that vegan tea. Looking for the vegan tea. I don't know how much vegan tea you're going to find in this one, man. But Dr. Greger, did he finish his residency? Sometimes I don't know if you guys are trolling. Sometimes I don't know if you're talking shit in the chat, if you guys are just having fun. But I swing the hammer. I do swing the hammer.
Blood vessels doesn't have this constant tugging flow of blood. They don't function as well.
All right, let's jump forward a little bit.
An interesting question. Does seltzer water thicken blood? What?
That I've never heard of. In fact, seltzer water may actually be beneficial. In terms of, I have a video about.
If you fast forward here, we get to the good part when Dr. McDougall jumps in.
Tell us,
Dr.
course,
McDougall,
all these
he's coming.
That we do with guests, everybody wants to ask this one question, and is, what do you eat in a typical day?
Yeah. Oh, well, you don't even have to.
Everybody's just wondering what Dr. Greger eats in a typical day. Everybody wants to know his fitness tips, like, walking on a treadmill. How do you get your neck so thin, right? We want to know not just what he does, to keep that physique, what he does to maintain this manly bobblehead physique. We want to know exactly what you're eating in a day. So thank you so much to the interviewer for asking such hard-hitting questions. Let's see what this bearded, beautiful man, Dr. Greger, has got to say. And, the vegans, they love to tell me, you're bald because you eat meat. And Dr. Greger's beautiful head is just a shining example of what a plant-based diet can do for you. So if you guys don't want to be bald like me, if you don't want to end up bald-headed like me, maybe you should listen to what Dr. Greger's eating.
You can find out immediately by looking at my free app that I have on iPhone and Android. In fact, I just got a McDougall email saying that there's some new Android recipe thing from McDougall. I'm very excited about that. Yes. Free app, Android, iPhone, called Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen. So basically, I tried to compile basically a checklist of all the healthiest of healthy foods and encourage people to fit into their daily routine. So I encourage people to eat whole grains every day. Encourage people to eat beans every day, legumes, beans, split peas, chickpeas, lentils, and just kind of go through the list: a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, cruciferous vegetables, and the best beverages to drink, how much exercise to get, just in hopes of inspiring people to fit some of the healthiest of healthy things into one's diet.
All right, so you basically just named off all the highest lectin foods, the highest anti-nutrient foods that you could possibly eat. A variety of beans, legumes. Nobody's surprised, right? Nobody's surprised. But let's see what else he eats. I mean, I want to know how I can thin my neck out. Like this, my traps have been getting a little bit too big from this, the toxic inflammation from all the meat that I've been eating. And I really want to understand exactly how to do this, how to bring about and become the best trans vegan that I can be. So let's get to the bottom of this. What else, man? We understand the legumes, right? The phytate-rich lectin soups that you be making. Those will do it for us. But what else could we eat, man?
And so I actually came out with a How Not to Die cookbook. You can check it out at your local library. And where I've created a bunch of, with help of Robin Robertson, created a bunch of recipes that incorporate all the Daily Dozen foods and find ways you can make some yummy ways to prepare them.
All right, we'll make a big announcement here.
Oh,
Oh,
yes!
Michael, so good to talk to you.
It
Can
is
you
so great to see you.
Oh!
I tell you.
I missed it.
Well, you know what? You're going to be invited back.
I can't
Dr.
wait.
McDougall.
I can't wait.
He's here.
I'm so sorry, but you know how technology is, and Gustavo's made his best efforts, and somehow we just got screwed up.
Look at his hair. He's got a cow. Look at that cowlick.
Michael, good to see you.
Good to see
What are you
you.
doing? You doing your exercise this morning?
Well, I got my treadmill desk up and running, ready to rock.
Oh my God. Hey, listen, I had a few questions I wanted to ask
Please.
you, and I'm sorry. I'm sure Gustavo did a
Guys,
a
I'm gonna
good job
cry.
asking you some questions initially. And you could correct me on my facts here. Dr. Greger, and my friend, by the way.
Your
for many years,
friends?
you started out in general medicine, but never really have seen many patients, have you?
Oh, it was really just my postgraduate medical training. Yeah, I was never in clinical medicine for longer than that. I went directly to actually went as soon as I got out.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Repiten, por favor. Repiten, por favor.
Seen many patients, have you?
Oh, it was really just my postgraduate medical training.
But never really have seen many patients, have you?
Oh, it was really just my postgraduate medical training.
Okay.
Yeah, I was never in clinical medicine for longer than that. I went directly to actually went as soon as I got out. We started traveling around speaking at medical schools, feeling that.
All right. Let's count the words in between the ums.
Yeah, I was never in clinical medicine for
Okay.
longer than that. I went directly to actually went as soon as I got out. We started traveling around speaking at medical schools, feeling that how many people can I treat in a day? And so it was more important to train the trainers, and so went on the road and talked to other budding docs.
Wow. So Dr. Greger's never seen a patient. Never seen a single patient. But let's just get back to this love fest. Come on, look at Dr. McDougall. Thanks a lot for that question, by the way, Dr. McDougall. What the fuck, man? The fuck is your problem? Why the hell you gotta ask me that? Is he mad? Let's look back at this. This moment's great.
And directly to actually.
And my friend, by the way, for many years.
This is like passive aggressive action from Dr. McDougall, or is he just is he trying to make Dr. Greger look like a fucking idiot? What is this?
Out in general medicine, but never really have seen many patients, have you?
Oh, it was really just my postgraduate medical training. Yeah, I was never in clinical medicine for longer than that. I went directly to actually went as soon as I got out. We started traveling around speaking at medical schools, feeling that how many people can I treat in a day? And so it was more important to train the trainers, and so went on the road and talked to other budding docs in hopes that they will carry on the torch.
Well, what do you think? Are they doing it?
Well, I mean, you got to go to some of these new conferences. So there's this International Plant-Based Nutrition Healthcare Conference. I believe it's in Oakland this year. Also, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine Conference. These are massive medical conferences. 1,000, plant-based practitioners there. I mean, it's like you wouldn't have dreamed it. I mean, going to a conference and having 1,000 plant-based.
Can you guys make? Oh, they're making a transcript of this in the chat. Well, I'm not really treating a patient,
Practitioners, not just in their own lives, but actually using this in their day-to-day practice. It's finally seeing its light of day, something that you've been pushing for decades.
Just decades, finally. Oh man, this dude's never been a doctor, never seen a patient in his life, went straight out of his residency that he didn't even complete to educating doctors. Dr. McDougall's whole career was based around fear-mongering about mad cow disease. His whole early career was educating people into a state of fear, terror, trepidation about eating meat. But, what the fuck, Dr. McDougall? Why the fuck you asked me that, man?
After decade, banging your head against the wall, it looks like the wall is finally cracking.
Well, it looks my head's pretty lumpy too. Actually, I will be at the October meeting in Orlando.
Fantastic! I would encourage people to go. You will just be amazed.
You know why, Michael? I have been honored by the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, which, by the way, we had a lot to do with founding back in 2004. They're going to give me an honor this October, which is a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I'm sure you're in line for the next one.
No, my God, I'm just getting started. You deserve it. I cannot wait to see you up on stage.
Well, I will be there. You know, I'm honored. But yeah, these organizations really are growing. Which brings me, do you think, I don't know, Michael, you know, you've been involved in the research, nutritionfacts.org.
Well, you know, I never really treat any patients, you know. Wait, Dr. Gregor. Dr. Gregor, do you have a fly in the back of your throat? Oh, sorry, guys. Well, you know. All right. NC Rid for $4.99 says, tried to tell the homeless about animal foods diet while I was confiscating their shopping carts and syringes this week. Didn't go over great. Laugh my ass off. Right? I mean, those are the people who need a steak the most, man. How about this? In the future, NC Rid, don't send me your super chats. Don't send me money for super chats. Spend that $5 on a pound of ground beef for a homeless dude. Or give him a nice steak. I guess, you know, $5, you're not going to get a huge steak, but buy one of those homeless people a steak and bring it to him. How about that? That'd be pretty cool. But thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Lazi Jakovic, I probably completely butchered your name there, says, we would love to take you in and lop you up and brainwash you, Tristan. Well, you know, I've never really treated anyone, you know.
You probably know the science and the methodology better than anybody else that I know.
By the way, my wife's sitting next to me. Just like, and I hear her like giggling at me, but she doesn't hear what I hear. So she just literally sees me staring at a screen, acting like a fool. And she's having a good time over here too, though.
And you're also an old guy like me. Not quite, but you've been around a long time. And you've been through the various phases. You've been through the low-carb phase. Then we were in favor with Nathan Pritikin and Dennis Burkett and Kempner and a few other people. And now we're back in the
low-carb phase. What do you mean the low-carb phase? When was the low-carb phase? You mean forever? People have been using low-carb diets forever. You guys are creating this high-carb phase. You guys are a part of the pushing of this unnatural, this completely flatulent high-carb diet where you're telling people to eat 20 different types of legumes every single day. Come on. The low-carb phase? What are you talking about, buddy? Is it just me, or does Dr. McDougall kind of have this like Christopher Walken with low testosterone vibe? He's got like a Christopher Walken on estrogen replacement therapy vibe, doesn't he?
With Nathan Pritikin and Dennis Burkett.
Without the cool voice, right? Without the cool voice. He's like Christopher Walken got stuck in Chicago and picked up a shitty accent.
Kempner and a few other people. And now we're back in the low-carb phase. Can you tell me what's going on?
Isn't that amazing? Right. Not only have we lived through it, we've lived through it long enough to have a...
Let me just yell at you a little bit more, Dr. McDougall. You know.
Back. You've lived through it at least 2 times, right? It was early 70s when Atkins was originally, right?
It's got Dr. McDougall is like a bobblehead doll of every vegan that ever lived with the soul of Scooby-Doo.
So-
yeah, I was in the 70s. Yeah, he and I did some radio shows together, and yeah.
Unbelievable, right? And now we are mired back. It's funny.
Overstimulated. How many cups of coffee does Dr. Greger do? How many lines of coke is Dr. Greger railing off of Freely Banana Girl's ass before he gets on his treadmill for these? This is too funny, man.
When the Atkins craze was going great, when 4 million Americans were doing Atkins, I kept waiting. Someone's got to write a book. No one was doing anything. So finally I said, darn it, if no one else is going to do it, I did it. So I wrote my carbophobia book, came out, and 4 months later, the Atkins went bankrupt. The whole fad crashed. I totally came too late in the wave. And so I felt like I did all that work for nothing. But now, here it is again. So it's not for nothing after all.
Well, hell,
Look how they try to justify their total loss of credibility. Look how they try to justify the fact that nobody gives a shit what these guys have to say, right? I mean, this is really funny. I love seeing these people cope, and this is just such a beautiful cope sesh. Evolving Aaron B, what's up? Says $10. We know Jessica knows you. She says, hey, you know her from Instagram? Right on. Evolving Aaron B says, from our homestead to yours, much love and respect. Well, Evolving Aaron B, it's like, I really love, respect and like hugs and for you too.
help me, because obviously my frustration it becomes more and more apparent to people. But I've been in this for 40 years, and maybe I ought to start on tranquilizers or something. Tell me, how did this happen? In 1990, my publishers knew what was going to happen. They told me, McDougall, stop writing high-carb books. Start writing high-protein books.
Right.
Penn Putnam did, and I said, you're crazy.
It's been called the $80 billion weight loss gimmick, and that is the rapid water loss, right?
All right, so then they try to justify their total loss of credibility, the massive rise of the recognition of low carbohydrate diets, of ketogenic diets, by saying it's just water weight, dude. It's just water weight. Well, $80 billion is just a magic trick. They make you lose water weight. Dude, I've seen clients use over 100 pounds in less than a year using ketogenic diets and carnivorous diets. I've seen people reverse autoimmune conditions, put them into total remission. I've seen people who've had chronic inflammatory conditions, really, really bad digestive conditions after coming off of diets like the shit that these dummies propose. And I've seen them do this so freaking rapidly on a ketogenic diet, on a low carbohydrate diet. And this doofus is going to come over here and say, oh, it's just water weight. I mean, I'm not one for putting up, I get testimonials all the time from clients. And if I was a better marketer, I'd be marketing the shit out of myself as a coach, because I've seen so many people lose over 100 pounds. Whoa. Descargel Bono just sent $100. Getting them, just sent $100 with nothing to say. Descargel Bono. Thank you. That's the biggest super chat donation I've ever gotten. Descargel I can't even say your name. I really appreciate it, man. I guess you like the Dr. McDougall. I'm sorry, the Dr. Greger impression. He was really into, just a little bit of water weight. I mean, this guy, he lost 100 pounds, reverses diabetes in a year. Water weight.
I know. We store carbs as glycogen in our muscles, and they're complex to water. As soon as that glycogen starts getting depleted, we have that tremendous diuresis. Of course, we have to get rid of the ketones too. And so people look down at the bathroom scale, and for the first time in their lives, They went on this new diet. 1 week they lost 5 pounds. What? 5 pounds, right? And so, oh my God. And so then they tell everybody, they tell their friends, they tell their family, everybody goes out and gets the book. Okay. And then what happens, as obviously we know what happens. It's just water weight. They're losing. In fact, they're losing more lean mass as well. Now, Kevin NIH.
The chat is freaking hilarious. This is the thing. You guys are the ones who keep this going, right? If you guys weren't there in the chat making me laugh my ass off all the time, I couldn't do this. So, I mean, sometimes I just got to stop to read some of the funny comments in the chat. But then there's also Roger Sear lost 107 pounds in 8 months. Apparently, it's all water weight. Sorry, dude. Doesn't count. Go get your daily dozen. You should be having 12 bowel movements per day. And, yeah, it just doesn't count. And if you ever were a vegan, you just didn't do it right. So buy Dr. Greger's book, dude. What else? Let's see. Berto, that's what he said. He said, I think without $100, you're supposed to twerk like VG. LOL. Anybody? I saw that in Charles Marlowe's video. I didn't know that the Vegan Gains twerks for cash on the streams. I guess it's like obviously a joke. But yeah, I did talk to Vegan Gains yesterday. We had a nice civil conversation. It was pretty fun. I didn't go too easy on him. I wasn't too hard on him either. Drew Morg was here. It was on Drew Morg's channel, so make sure to check out Drew's channel over there. Drew, I saw you in the chat earlier. Saw you up in that chat. You are welcome to jump in the stream if you want, Drew. Sometimes it's fun to have a fellow to bounce my roasting off of. Sit around the nice fire and have a nice little vegan weenie neck roast.
Those beautiful metabolic ward studies actually showed that ketogenic diets, these extremely high fat, low carb diets, actually slow the loss of body fat.
Kevin Hall's work.
What's happening on the scale is the opposite of what's happening inside the person. But what do you see? You just see the bathroom scale. And so by the time they figure it out.
So what? All right. How is he going to justify that claim? How is he going to justify a ketogenic diet actually slows fat loss? What are you talking about, man? What the hell are you talking about? A ketogenic diet slows fat loss. We just had several people in the chat. We had somebody else say let's see. Let's scroll up here. We had 107 pounds lost in 8 months. Of course, just water weight, right? There was somebody else who said they lost like 87 pounds or something in a very short amount of time. Yeah. So 100. I know 5 gallons is about 40 pounds. So you mean the guy that lost 100 pounds in 8 months, you lost like 12 gallons of water. So whatever, dude. It's all good. 12 gallons of water. It's just going to come right back on when you refill your glycogen. You're going to gain that 100 pounds back, according to the great pencil neck scientist, Mr. Bobblehead, Dr. Greger, who never treated a patient in his life and went right into teaching other doctors, right? Because as Drew Morg said, my buddy Drew Morg in the chat, he's having fun laughing. As Drew said, well, who's better to teach doctors than someone who's never been a fucking doctor himself?
They've already told everybody about it. And then, of course, they blame themselves and they come crawling back to it. But that seeing those pounds come off, even though it's not body fat,
Yes.
that's what drags people back over and over and over again.
Over and over and over. I mean, look, listen to this propaganda technique. What a dishonest pencil neck prick. Roger Sear from Canada, sending them Canadian dollars. Says, I found your channel when I was first starting keto back in February 2017. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you stuck around. What different days we have today, huh? Keto back in February 2017. That was back when this channel was so well behaved. That was when we actually made money doing this. But hey, we're not out here just to make money. And you know what's cool? You guys are actually making this stream semi-profitable, right? Super profitable with that guy with the $100 super chat. Didn't even have something for me to read. Rolf Krause sent in $1, sent in 99 centavos. Oh, it was retracted though. He wants to send it again. Maybe type something in there. All right, Dr. Greger. All right, look. So wait, hold on. Allostasis. What the fuck is your problem? Alistasis says smaller arms than a 9-year-old girl. LOL. How is that even possible? Hey, excuse me, but Dr. Greger, okay? Where's that photograph? I gotta pause the stream. I'm sorry. We gotta pause the stream. I am so triggered right now. As a trans vegan, I identify as a vegan, so I can make fun of vegans, right? I identify as a vegan. I am very offended by the word soy boy. Incredibly offended. I'm absolutely offended by people who eat meat, including me, because I'm trans vegan. I eat an all meat diet, an all animal food diet. But as a trans vegan, I am very offended by this slander that you are putting on the great Dr. Greger. Where is that thumbnail? Damn it. This is one of the best pictures. All right, well, first of all, that 9-year-old girl, and if I could find the damn video, I'd have proof, that 9-year-old girl is obviously on steroids. That 9-year-old girl is obviously on steroids, okay? And I don't know if you people laughing in the stream about trans veganism, I don't know if you're seriously laughing at me, which would be transphobia, or if you're laughing at something else. You'd shut your mouths if you knew it was good for you. Anybody who criticizes me, it is actually hate speech, by the way, since I am trans vegan. And we are a protected class. Now, as vegans, we will soon be a protected class, but as a trans person, I am a protected class as well. So, let's see. Greger, girl interview. Where's that video? It was a thumbnail from this video. We had so much fun laughing about this so many times. All right, whatever. All you bigots out there making fun of Dr. Greger, you don't understand that this girl is obviously on gear. She's a 9-year-old girl. And look, you guys all know how the fitness industry works, right? Like it's angles, it's lighting. I put up a picture the other day of me underneath the Juve over there. You put the camera at a certain angle, it makes you look a little more jacked. Made some jokes about it in the on my Instagram account. You know, and lighting and angles are where it's at. That 9-year-old girl intentionally tried to out-angle him, intentionally, and she had a pump. You could tell she had a massive pump. She was probably doing a bunch of bicep curls before she got on camera, and I'm pretty sure she's on the juice. Like, I don't know, you guys have to ask freely. You have to ask Durian Royda, and I'm pretty damn sure she's on the gear, mate. That girl's on the gear. She's on the juice, mate. All right. Look at these super chats rolling through. Some of you guys are naughty, though. You know, it says, Oy vey, fellow white people, you should castrate yourselves. Oh, my 3 kids, cool it with the anti-Semitism. Goy. I'm not sure what you're saying there. You gotta be careful, though. Don't be a naughty boy here. Don't be naughty in my chat, guys. Don't be trying to get me in trouble. YouTube is watching you, and I am trans vegan, and if you do not like me, it is hate thought. And if you do speak anything against me, it's hate speech. So, all right, coming back to Dr. Greger. Sorry, I had to get that out. That guy, he was duped by that girl, and it seems like she might have taken the video down because it was slander. Yeah, it's slander. And yes, she's on steroids. Obviously. Come on. Let's go back to this.
Well, they seem to, but there's got to be more going on than that.
Greg is like a serpent, you know, like he hypnotizes you with that side-to-side snaky motion and with those really beautiful, lively eyes that he has. He just hypnotizes the audience. If you look too deeply into Dr. Greger's eyes, you might fall in love.
I have to think back again. You know, you're one of my contemporaries, and I have to think that the food industry really took an active role after watching what happened to big tobacco and big alcohol. And so, you know, I think they started playing a whole new game. You know, after they had won in the 70s and low carb Atkins type diets were very powerful, Then we had the dietary goals come out at the end of the 70s, 1977. And I think with big food, they looked at the government taking off after them, like the Surgeon General did after tobacco in 1964. And I just have never seen such a flurry of effort and money and lobby and lying going on.
How dumb? All right, so how is he just dishonest or is he so dumb? Is he dishonest or is he really dumb? I'm gonna crank up the mic gain a little bit for LA Meth Witch. Thanks, LA Meth Witch. See, this is the thing. I can't hear. I know Drew's good with Drew Mork. You tell me what to do with my volume. Tell me what to do with my mic, man. My boy Drew, he's a tech whiz. He's got a $20 mic and he makes it sound 100 times better than my mic on his live streams. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to Drew. He's got a great channel. He does some great streams. How dishonest is this man, though? Big Food wrote the dietary guidelines. The dietary guidelines, much like the Green Revolution, were Big Food's little demented, aborted baby. Right? We all know how great abortion is, right? According to the news. Of course, as a trans vegan, I am against people eating eggs. I think it's terrible. It's rape. It's murder. Eggs are murder. And as a trans vegan, as a meat eater, I don't know. I'm really torn, right? Because eggs equal murder, right? Chicken eggs are murder. But if eggs are murder, what are abortions? I don't know. I'll figure this out later. I'm not sure what the trans vegan position on abortion is, but eggs are murder. This guy is saying that the big food industry, big ag, big food he calls it, which is really just big ag, right? Cargill, Archer Daniels Midlands, Monsanto. All these corporations tightly wound in with the whole NGO industrial complex, right? You've got the Rockefeller Foundation, Ford Foundation, the Carnegie Endowment, all these big foundations of these billionaires' money that is put to work as generational wealth to consolidate resources, to control the population. That is what created the dietary guidelines, what created the Green Revolution, what created the Gene Revolution, and the GMO Revolution that these guys' diet feeds directly into. Bill Gates. The Bill and Melinda Gates, or it's just the Bill Gates Foundation now. Why is Melinda not in it anymore? Jessica doesn't know. That's why. That's why. What do they know? So the Bill Gates Foundation. Just kidding, ladies. Goodness. You let them vote, and then they get all freaking uppity. The Bill Gates Foundation and Bill Gates are not philanthropists who care about you. They're not philanthropists who want to make you healthy and happy. Bill Gates is a eugenicist whose father actually helped run Planned Parenthood. Bill Gates' family is historically about eliminating the human population, eliminating undesirables. So Bill Gates investing in the Beyond Burger, Bill Gates spreading GMO seeds all over Africa is not about feeding the world. Instead of spreading GMO seeds all over Africa, promoting vegan processed foods and telling everybody else to go vegan, go on a plant-based diet to save the planet, he could be using this money to actually give these people clean water. He could be using this money to actually be fighting the real diseases that are so rampant in these areas in Africa. But that's not what Bill Gates does. The Bill Gates Foundation spreads GMOs. Bill Gates is one of the biggest investors, one of the biggest shareholders of Monsanto. Right? And Dr. McDougall and these people, they're so dishonest. I don't know if they actually believe this shit. I don't know if they actually believe it or if they're just dishonest, right? Maybe he's not dishonest. Maybe he's just as intelligent as he looks and sounds and acts. Let's move on.
It's just unbelievable. But let me get back to the frustration, because people don't understand. I think you are one of the few people who does understand my frustration, because you know the science as well as I do, if not better. And you listen to what they say, and you know what they did, and you know they're not telling the truth to the public, and you know these diets are killers. And it's not just a matter of getting constipated, which happens to 70% of the
Right.
people.
Right.
We're talking about dying of heart disease and getting cancers and all kinds of things. Anyway, if you could give me some insight so that I can understand why, when the science clearly says that this kind of diet, these low carb diets, are killer diets, and that the human being is a carbohydrate eater, why are they winning?
You know, look, if you
The human being as a carbohydrate eater. Because remember, guys, we was berry pickers. Who was that? Dr. Clapper says we was berry pickers. When our ancestors were walking around and they couldn't find a berry bush, they might just kill a mammoth and eat the mammoth if they couldn't find the berry bush. Or if they couldn't find a Beyond Burger bush, they would maybe kill a mammoth every once in a while and eat the marrow and the fat.
you know what really helped me?
You know,
Yeah, tell me.
It helped me
you know,
to go back in the literature to the 1950s. You
Right.
go back to the 1950s, and there was already decades of data strongly linking lung disease, lung cancer, and smoking. Famed surgeon Michael DeBakey back in the 30s was showing this link. Okay, we had this mountain of evidence. Okay, so
Okay, mountain of evidence. I won't tell you what it is. I'll just tell you it's there. I swear, it's right outside my door. Mountain of evidence. You know.
what was happening? The AMA, the American Medical Association, was saying that smoking on balance was good for you, not neutral, but good for you
Not
as
neutral.
long as it's done in moderation. Smoking
Exaggerated exuberance. Dr. Gregor. Dr. Gregory's he's like a bobblehead doll with a squeaky, creaky old wooden door in the back of his throat. That's how you do a Dr. Gregor impression, with a little bit of Scooby-Doo.
cigarettes, good in moderation. The government was telling people to smoke. Famous athletes agreed. The media was telling people to smoke. It was everywhere. It was in the movies. It was on airplanes.
See, I love to do this. When we talked to Richard yesterday, wasn't Vegan Gain saying the same thing? He's like, yeah, well, smoking is also, people used to think that smoking is really good. I mean, a lot of these people use these same really, really bad arguments. All right, so he talked about, so many people, they suffer from constipation. So many people suffer from constipation. We need to be eating 50 to 100 grams of fiber per day. Per day. Grease up that door in the back of your throat, dude. Well, here's something that's interesting. So, there's an interesting study here. Stopping or reducing dietary fiber intake reduces constipation and its associated symptoms. So this isn't some shit meta-analysis like these vegans like to use. This isn't some crappy epidemiological study. They took 63 cases of idiopathic constipation presenting between May 2008 and May 2010. These people were enrolled in the study after colonoscopy excluded an organic cause of the constipation. Patients with previous colon surgery or medical cause for the constipation were excluded. All patients were given an explanation for the role of fiber in the gastrointestinal tract. They were then asked to go on a no-fiber diet for 2 weeks. Thereafter, they were asked to reduce the amount of dietary fiber intake to a level they found acceptable. Dietary fiber intake, symptoms of constipation, difficulty in evacuation of stool, anal bleeding, abdominal bloating, or abdominal pain were recorded at 1 and 6 months. This is a legitimate study. A legitimate study. The results were as such. Of those who stopped fiber completely, the bowel frequency increased from 1 motion every 3.75 days to 1 motion per day. Those with reduced fiber intake had increased bowel frequency from a mean of 1 motion per 4.19 days to 1 motion per 1.9 days. All right, so reduced fiber intake had 1 bowel movement every 2 days. No fiber intake once a day, like clockwork. How about this? Those who remained on a high fiber diet continued to have a mean of 1 motion per 6.83 days before and after consultation. For no fiber, reduced fiber, and high fiber groups respectively, symptoms of bloating were present in 0% in the no fiber group, 31% in the low fiber group, and 100% in the high fiber group. You know, egg industry, you know, daily dozen, you know, 50 to 100 grams of fiber. Dr. Gregor, vasectomy.
Medical meetings were one heavy haze of smoke. Smoking was, in a word, normal. Why didn't doctors tell people to stop smoking? Most doctors themselves smoked cigarettes, right? Just like most doctors today continue to eat foods that are contributing to our epidemics of dietary disease, right?
All right, Mike, I need to interrupt. I'm sorry, but I need to have you take us to that moderate tangency. Like you just explained, the tobacco industry said, don't smoke too.
CMC Broadcasting says 1 ghost wipe a day keeps the dingles away. Yeah, I call him Dr. Dingleberry McGregor. Or just Gregor. He doesn't get the Mick. Derek, what's up, dude? Says I prefer meat fiber. Seriously, the components of meat has enough volume to facilitate perfectly healthy gut function. And I absolutely agree. So Derek is a veteran low carbohydrate, no carbohydrate / carnivore diet guy. And he's been doing it for a long time. Derek knows what he's talking about.
Too much. And the alcohol industry said, don't, a little bit's okay. In fact, it helps your heart. We have a whole bunch of new diets out there that take the same moderate approach. And of course, as you and I know, moderation is the license for people to go and do whatever they want to do. Now, I'm specifically referring to...
Dude, McDougall's wife really should have told him not to turn his head. Because check this out.
We
got to pause it here.
Approach.
Just on his...
And of course, as
he's got this huge cowlick in the back of his head.
License for people to go and do whatever they want to do. Now,
moderation. But moderation. Don't do moderation. Not everything in moderation. But fiber in abundance, right? Dr. Gregor telling everybody to eat how many grams of fiber? To eat nothing but beans, legumes, a variety of legumes, of course, because all these imported foods are just so good for us. Right? And don't eat that nasty meat, because saturated fat, right? Saturated fat, the stuff your cells are made out of. Even cholesterol, it's like ubiquitous throughout your entire body, especially in your brain. Right? Absolutely necessary. People with low cholesterol have much higher rates of dementia. What are the side effects of statin drugs? Sarcopenia, mental issues, emotional issues. These people are willingly giving themselves the side effects of statins through ingesting a diet that is insufficient in bioavailable, digestible protein, fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin B12, carnitine, carnosine. So many compounds you're not going to be getting on a vegan diet. Carnitine also involved in brain health, in mood. Right? Really, really strong associations between depression and low carnitine levels. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's so hypocritical. Drew Morg, if you're still in the chat, let me know how my volume is on my mic, because I think what happened was I changed a setting earlier, and I want to make sure my mic's good. So let me know.
I'm specifically referring to, and I want your expertise on this, the Mediterranean diet. Will you tell us about the Mediterranean diet and how that fits into, let's say, the extremes, you and I being at one extreme and the low carbers being at another extreme? Is the Mediterranean diet, the moderation, is that just few cigarettes, a few pieces of whatever?
So yeah, as we both know, moderation kills. Whether we're talking about diet, whether we're talking about smoking, whether we're talking about any toxic, life-ending behavior. But it's like hitting yourself with a smaller hammer, right? I mean, why beat yourself up at all? There is, however, data showing that it's not black or white, it's not all or nothing. Any movement in the direction towards eating healthier can accrue significant benefits. Even if you compare, for example, in the Ventus 2 study, non-vegetarians to flexitarians, so-called semi-vegetarians, who eat meat a few times a month, not on a daily basis, you see significant drops in risk of diabetes, significant drops of hypertension, significantly lower BMI. And so now, of course, pesco vegetarians who eat no meat except fish do better than semi-vegetarians. The lacto-ovos do better than the pescatarians, and those who eat no animal products do better than all of them in terms of lowering.
All right, so the Adventist studies yet again, the Adventist study fallacy again. These people are obsessed with these damn Adventists. They're obsessed. They're obsessed with it. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could turn the volume up. I don't know. Maybe I've got to do something on the back end of it. But I don't think I can turn the volume up on my... Let me see. I'll come over to the properties here. Advanced audio properties. All right. Look, I can double my volume actually, but it might be too much. How's that? Is that better? I don't know if that's any different. You guys are way behind. You guys are way behind on this. So anyways, okay. What were we talking about here? What was I talking about?
These chronic
Volume. Yeah. What was he talking about?
disease risk, but
the Adventist studies, the Mediterranean diet. All right, you know how many messages I get from people who live in like Sardinia? I actually talked to some guys from Sardinia the other day on the Arctos podcast, and okay, so they say that's good, that's better. Okay, I'm leaving it there. I talked to some folks from Sardinia the other day on the Arctos podcast. I'm sorry to anybody listening later on if you just got a sudden jump in volume. I figured out in the back end how to increase it. So the Arctos podcast, we talked about, this guy lives in Sardinia, and he was telling me that everybody eats meat there. They eat animal fats in abundance, especially butter and lamb fat. They say there's more sheep on the island of Sardinia than there are people. This Mediterranean diet being vegan, this Mediterranean diet being freaking vegetarian even, is a total nonsensical claim. It is untrue. These people are not vegan and vegetarian, just like Okinawans are not on a primarily plant-based diet. They eat pork before and after every meal. They eat it for an appetizer and dessert. Okinawa is a pork culture. The longest living population in the world is in Hong Kong. Guess what they eat? They eat more meat per capita than any other area of the world. Roger Sears says, think of all those sheep farts. Damn it, you're right. All those sheep farts on Sardinia, right? We've got to get those people a care package from the Bill Gates Foundation ASAP. We need to get them some Beyond Burger bushes so that they can sustain their people and they can sustain their society. We need to get rid of those damn sheep and grow Monsanto soy. Thank you so much. Rolf Krause, $4.99 says, you're my hero for that PhD, Dr. Dwayne Norton PhD vid. I think just the title of that video was I mean, I wrote the title before I even shot that video. I knew what it was going to be called. PhD, Dr. Lane Norton, PhD. You've earned my first super chat. Found you a few weeks ago. Now I'm a big fan. Keep doing what you do. Right on, man. Ralph Krause, thank you for hanging out. Thanks for the donation, man. We've got him through another 99 cents. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate it, man. All right. Yeah, Siren Janine says I'm unblocked. You know, I don't know. Sometimes there's civilian casualties in the chat sometimes, guys. They should have never gave me a wrench.
It's not, it's not all or nothing. And so we should encourage people to move in that direction. And that's where I see the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet is healthier than the standard American diet. That is an incredibly low bar. But any diet that says, eat some more vegetables, you're eating, more starches with pasta. Of course, people turn that into pouring, fettuccine sauce on it. But if you look at some traditional Mediterranean diets, if you go to, it's a lot of, it's a lot of plant foods. It's a plant heavier diet. And basically that's how you determine whether a diet is healthy or not. How many healthy plant foods does it have?
How many healthy plant foods have it? Hey, stopping or reducing dietary fiber intake reduces constipation and its associated symptoms. Symptoms being difficulty in evacuation of stool, anal bleeding, abdominal bloating, or abdominal pain, recorded at 1 in 6 months. How interesting! How interesting! All right. Don't come in here in the chat and complain. You're going to come and complain in the chat, you will. You will get blocked. All right. What else? I had a few other things pulled up here that were kind of interesting. Where did that window go? Where did that window go? Check this out. What is this? What is this article? Oh, this. As a trans vegan, I don't know what to think about this. I don't know what to think about this dang article. Well, vegetarians are at greater risk of developing cancer and allergies. Says new study. While the world is in conflict over eating meat and vegetables, a controversial study undertaken at the Medical University of Graz in Austria has claimed that vegetarians are less healthy than their meat-eating counterparts. A vegetarian's diet is characterized by less fat and cholesterol and thus carries increased risks of allergies, cancer, anxiety, and depression. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Now, we talked to Richard yesterday, and he was saying, "Oh, no, that's a terrible study. We're going to disregard that study." So, of course, these vegans are going to say this study is just awful, right? And look, none of these studies are absolute truth, absolute gospel. But I think this one's really interesting and definitely lines up with my personal observations in the vegan community, which is right on display before all of us here on YouTube, right? We've got pencil neck, bobblehead, Dr. Greger. We've got Dr. McDougall acting quite erratic, acting a little bit demented lately. We've got all these people talking about depression, anxiety, difficulty with digestion. Right? A lot of them even seeming like psychotic. Right? I mean, look at Freely. Freely the banana whore is just, she's just breaking down. She doesn't even show her face anymore. Right? She's probably going to come back with some new Botox or something. Is Botox vegan, by the way, Freely? Is Botox vegan? Is Botox vegan? I don't know if Botox is vegan. Is it vegan? Nutrition and Health, the association between eating behavior and various health parameters. A matched sample study. So here's the study you can find. It's pretty interesting. Our results showed that a vegetarian diet is associated with poorer health, higher incidences of cancer, allergies, and mental health disorders, a higher need for health care, and poorer quality of life. But they just did it wrong. They should have gone to a doctor. They should have gone to Dr. Greger, who's never seen a... I've never treated a patient in my entire life, Gotta make a lot of money. Shouldn't they just go to Dr. Greger? Shouldn't they just go and get their gut fixed by Goji Man? Right? Isn't it funny? Like this is actually no disrespect to Goji Man, by the way. I'm just saying, like, this is the dialogue, right? These people say you should go to a doctor. You were on a vegan diet. You felt like shit. You were depressed. You had massive anxiety. You felt like your body and mind were falling apart. You were shitting 6 times a day 16 times a day, rather. You're shitting 6 times before you even went to work in the morning. You always knew where the toilets were nearby. And you just kept stuffing the fiber down their throat. Oh, you gotta eat a balanced whole foods vegan diet. But it didn't work. And then they started eating meat. They don't need to go to a doctor. They remove the dietary fiber from the diet. Their constipation resolves. Their diarrhea goes away. They feel better. They don't need medical intervention at that point. The symptoms are totally gone. Gone from dietary intervention. But they say, oh no, you did it wrong. All right, so apparently they did this study wrong. Right? All the vegans in this study, those people did it wrong with their higher incidences of cancer, allergies, and mental health disorders. Right? Because, none of these vegans who are promoting veganism and saying it's so great, they don't see this in the vegan community, right? It's total cognitive dissonance. Total cognitive dissonance. Higher incidence of cancer, allergies, and mental health disorders. Speaking of mental health disorders,
you can do a percentage. Like what percent of the diet is healthy plant foods? And in fact, so the American diet, it's about 11%. is like, fruits and vegetables, whole, and everything else is just, oils and sugar and animal products. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 1. Okay, but what's the Mediterranean diet? It's probably higher. In fact, the paleo diet, if you do surveys of people who claim to be eating the paleo diet, the one thing that separates the most from the standard American diet, you think, well, your paleo diet, they eat a lot of meat. Well, they don't actually eat significantly more meat than the standard American diet because they already eat so much meat in the standard American diet. What the one thing that sets them out most is actually they eat more vegetables.
It's totally false, right? It's like if you say like a ribeye steak, a T-bone steak, a nice big fat ass porterhouse steak, if you say that that's the same as a burger from McDonald's, or if you consider fast food meat, I mean, come on, dude. These people on paleo diets are not eating just as much meat as people on a standard American diet. In fact, the people with the highest meat consumption per capita live the longest. Why do they live the longest? Why does the Hong Kong population live the longest?
See, and of course that's not saying much because they don't eat a lot of vegetables in the standard American diet. But look, if that's what paleo means to you, if that's what Mediterranean means to you, you're actually sitting down to a bowl of pasta rather than a steak. Okay, then that's better. But again, when it comes to something life or death, do we want better or do we want the best possible tools for ourselves and our family for a long and healthy life? And unfortunately, I have another interview I've got to run. I'm so sorry we had technical difficulties. I'm looking forward to coming back on.
Well, we can do that, Michael, because you're such a fund of knowledge, and you're probably almost as outspoken as I am.
Oh, I one day I dream to be as outspoken.
Well, you have to lose your mind first, I hear.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So you have to become insane,
okay,
or some other way to be bold enough to say it like it is, as opposed to being politically correct. I think that's what the problem is.
I'm working on
it. You and I, plain and simple, Michael, have not learned how to be politically correct.
Well, you are still.
It's kind of sad to see. I mean, these are definitely symptoms of dementia, right? The over-exaggerated motions, right? These hands flailing around, the eyes. Come on. I mean, these guys know what's best for us, though, right? These guys know what's best. Dr. Greger, he's what's he, 50, 52 or something? How old do you think Dr. Greger is, man? Sure, she says. He's 52. Confirmed. Yeah, I mean, 52 years old,
The master, and I'm at your feet.
I cannot talk less loud than this.
Learning.
Well, let's plan on getting together.
She's getting
a good time. I haven't had enough time to tell folks what a great master communicator, and if you haven't tuned in to Michael Greger's nutritionfacts.org, do I have it right?
Absolutely.
He's got it right 99.9999. Well, maybe we can talk about that 1/1000% next time. But
like a plan.
I'm serious, folks. You want to find out what the facts are, and occasionally those facts differ a little bit, but you got it right on, Michael.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to coming out and.
You can't even get out a coherent sentence. You can actually understand what he's saying. You actually understand what he's saying. But if you were to give a transcript of these guys' words, it's just so funny. How many uhs do you get from Dr. Greger?
Doing another weekend too.
And we'll have you out for another weekend.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Thank you for your time, Michael.
Keep up the wonderful work.
As long as I'm standing, I will.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing, you guys. Absolutely amazing. So, Dr. Michael Greger and Dr. John McDougall, two giants of the vegan world, the saviors of veganity, the saviors of the vegan community. These people know what's best for you, right? Don't listen to these people who are losing 100 pounds on a low-carb diet because it's just water weight, right? And a low-carb diet's going to make you constipated, even though it's been shown clinically that stopping reducing dietary fiber intake reduces constipation and its associated symptoms. Don't listen to these people telling you that, because you got pencil neck McGregor over here. You got crazy eyes McDougall over here talking about 12 bowel movements a day, upping your intake of dietary fiber so that you can spend maximum time on the toilet. In Dr. Greger's daily dozen bowel movement diet, you should be pooping once per hour, or you're not doing it right. And if a vegan diet starts to fail you, if a vegan diet just doesn't work for you, well, you did it wrong. Just like these people over at the Medical University of Graz, Austria, did this study wrong. And everybody that was participating in this study was doing a vegan diet wrong. When it was found that there were higher incidences of cancer, allergies, and mental health disorders, higher need for health care, and poorer quality of life for people on a vegan diet. So, I mean, I guess, Dr. Greger, maybe he should take a look at this study. Because, better quality of life, less medical care, maybe you should not be on a vegan diet. Maybe a vegan diet is not the best thing for you. But the best part of this, we got to rewind. We got to rewind and hear Dr. McDougall asking Michael Greger, Dr. Michael Greger, about
Kempner and a few other people.
About how
Now,
long?
the 70s when Atkins was original. When the Atkins craze was
It's back here. Where is it at?
you wouldn't have dreamed it. I mean, it's light of day. Oh,
in
fantastic.
Orlando.
Fantastic. I would encourage people to go.
Some questions initially. And you could correct me on my facts here, Dr. Greger, and my friend, by the way, for many years, you started out in general medicine, but never really have seen many patients, have you?
Oh, it was really just my postgraduate medical training. Yeah, I was never in clinical medicine for longer than that. I went directly to actually went as soon as I got out. Where I started traveling around speaking at medical schools, feeling that, how many people can I treat in a day?
Yeah.
And so it was more important to train the trainers. And so went on the road and talked to other, budding docs in hopes that they will carry on the torch.
Because we all know the best person to teach doctors is somebody who's never treated a patient in his life and who's never worked as a doctor.